All Hallows Eve is coming up,
It's called Halloween, you fucking nerd.
so I should probably get a costume ready. No. Neat-ish, but generic. Sexy, but I'm not one for cross-dressing. There's nothing good to dress up as. Let me think. I've got it. Snip, snip, stitch, stitch, snip, stitch, snip. Oh, stitch, yeah. Scissor, scissor, scissor. Snip, 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 snip. Oh, yeah. It's perfect. What? Hey there, I'm the Spark Spectre, or should I say, the Spook Spectre. And it's Halloween. As a ghost, Halloween is my favorite time of year, obviously, due to all the candy, which has no repercussions since I'm dead. So remember, kids, if you want to eat all the candy you can, just kill yourself. Oh, yeah, I guess all the spooks and scares is pretty neat, too. A rather divisive genre of games is the horror genre, games filled with nothing but the spooks. Some horror games, usually the psychological ones like Silent Hill or Amnesia, are heralded as creepy masterpieces, but other smaller horror games are a bit more divisive. While some say they're lazy, I think that they too are good and scary in their own unique ways. Yes, that's right, as a Halloween special, I'll be defending horror games. Of course, not all horror games are in need of defending. Today, I'll be focusing on a certain type, the really short indie ones meant to be played in a night, like Slender the 8 Pages, SCP Containment Breach, and of course, Five Nights at Freddy's. Without further ado, let us delve into the horror. Before I give my reasonings on why these games are awesome, I need to address the criticisms of the games. The first and most glaring criticism is the overuse of jump scares. I will not deny that jump scares on their own aren't bad. While they may make you jump, they're more of a shock than a scare, and won't keep anyone up at night who's older than 6. Yeah, games like Slender, FNAF, and Eyes do use jump scares. The problem with this argument, though, is that it assumes that jump scares are the only method of scaring the game has to offer, which is rarely if ever the case. I'll go over the actual scary stuff later in the video when I'm discussing why the games are great, but for now, just know that jump scares are supposed to serve as a conclusion to the spooks, as a sort of game over screen that makes you jump. In a game that's meant to scare you, would you rather die like this? Uh-oh, I think someone's coming. Boo! Ah, nuts, I died. Or like this. Uh-oh, I think something's coming. Holy Jesus! Shit! Cock! That's a loud noise! Again, if the game relies exclusively on jump scares, that's not a good thing. But most games criticized for jump scares, such as the ones I've listed earlier, use them in conjunction with other factors to make an overall scary experience. The next complaint is that these indie horror games are rather bare bones and lacking in content. Most of them can be completed within an hour, in comparison to games like Silent Hill with a runtime of 7 hours, or Resident Evil 4 with a solid runtime of 16 hours. Yeah, indie horror games are real short, but they're not meant to be anything more. They're supposed to be quick, spooky experiences played in a night, as opposed to full-on lengthy games. Yeah, I only spent an hour with Five Nights at Freddy's, but I enjoyed said hour with Five Nights at Freddy's. If these indie horror games were more expensive, I might be more angry, but most of them are cheap as hell. The original and best Five Nights at Freddy's game is a measly $5, and that's expensive compared to the other stuff. Games like Eyes the horror game, SCP Containment Breach, SCP Secret Laboratory, and a whole bunch of creepypasta and other creepy fan games are all free. Just check Game Jolt, you'll find a variety of horror games at the same price as the air around you. At prices like these, short horror experiences are a ton of spooky fun at an affordable price, perfect for the spooky holiday season. The last major complaint I see in regards to indie horror games is that the hype surrounding them is bad. They usually have loud, obnoxious YouTubers like Markiplier or Mr. Septiceye play them, and if they do have fan bases, they're usually rabid and annoying. I shouldn't have to explain why this is stupid. Poor fan bases do not mean poor products. The creator of said product has no say in how people react to their games, and the fans do not affect the actual quality of the games. Also, the whole loud, obnoxious YouTuber thing is kinda dumb too. Just because you dislike a certain style of video doesn't mean it's objectively bad. While I can see why someone would find PewDiePie, Markiplier, or Jacksepticeye loud or obnoxious, I and many others find their personalities rather fun, and just different from the norm. Either way you slice it though, you can't use these YouTubers making the game popular, or the fan bases of the games, as an excuse for being contrarian. That's just stupid. Now that we're done debunking criticisms for indie horror games, let's go into the reasons why they're good that I have yet to mention. There are two big ones, those being atmosphere and paranoia. First, the atmosphere of these games is usually pretty solid, and fitting of the spooky themes. Abandoned buildings and homes, haunted restaurants at night. Most settings in these games feel really spooky, especially combined with the dark, gritty visuals and limited sight the games give you. Well, in most games, music aids in creating an atmosphere for games. I think the lack of music in horror games really works. It drives in the sense that you're alone, your only company usually being some crazed murderer or otherworldly monster. It also makes the random spooky sound effects stand out, such as the static noise from TVs that turn on by themselves, quiet, freaky whispers, falling furniture, and God forbid the monster running at you from just around the corner. The second and more important factor is the paranoia the games induce. Most of them involve you hiding from some evil, murderous thing, either until the time is up or until you collect everything you need to beat the game. This means you're in constant fear that you might get caught, and that just around the next corner that you're about to turn is your worst nightmare. That this is a terrifying monster that will murder you and punish you with a jolt of energy and a shock via a jump scare. This creates a major sense of paranoia that truly makes the game scary in a way different than other forms of media. Unlike movies or stories, you are playing the victim in these scenarios, making you extra fearful of your character's life. It's very different than the psychological horror, and while it may not stay with you like the psych does, it's more so for a night of fun, fear, and some laughs at your own screams and failure due to the jump scare. All of this is augmented if you're playing alone in the dark at night, as you should be. These factors make horror games a ton of fun to play. Overall, these small indie horror games are awesome, especially around Halloween. They have an excellent spooky atmosphere, lots of paranoia, and their bite-sized format makes them perfect for beating in a night. They're not necessarily better than the big league horror games, nor are they necessarily worse. They're just spooky in a different way, and I like them a lot for it. But maybe you don't like them as much as I do. If you disagree with anything I've said in this video, leave a comment. I'm more than open to debate, but please don't be a dick about it. This has been the Spectre, and remember to have fun, stay safe, and... Uh-oh. What's that? Ah, shit. Don't kill me, please. I have a wife and kids. Okay, maybe I don't have a wife and kids. Oh, jeez. This ain't it, Chief.
I finally caught up to you.
What are you gonna do to me?
What am I gonna do?
Oh no, please!
I'm gonna...
Oh god, no, I don't want to die.
I'll make you eat this pizza!
Oh. Alright. If I'm gonna be honest, this kinda tastes like shit.
The fuck you just say to me?